Brian. And I'm Nathan. This is the At Odd Show. Please listen.
Forget what you learned in school. Never mind what your parents told you, and disregard what your friends say. From now on, the only people you need to listen to are these guys. For the next several minutes, they'll take you on a journey through the political jungle. And when your journey is over and you're safe at home, they promise you'll be stronger, smarter, and just plain better. So buckle up, hang on to your ears, because your journey starts now.
Let me assert my firm belief that the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Well, welcome to At Odds.
Howdy.
How you doing, Brian?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
Not too bad.
Hey, you've got a big trip tomorrow, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
Business trip in
yeah,
San
business
Fran.
Trip. Yep. So
And you're going to have
just means I'll be up early.
very early, and it'll be flying that big silver bird.
Mm-hmm.
Where's your stopover? Direct flight?
Well, I'd rather not say, because the last time...
The terrorists will get you.
Crazed fans.
It was like the Beatles.
Yeah, it was worse than the
horrible.
Beatles. Yeah,
it was.
No, Minneapolis.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
I got 9 hours in Minneapolis.
No, that's not true.
No, it's not.
Oh, okay.
But
wow.
it's not even Minneapolis.
That's
so.
where the extroverts stare at.
The cool thing
your
is, on the
shoes.
way back,
Yeah.
it's Detroit,
That's not bad.
which is always nice since
Yeah.
we're in Lansing, which is an hour from Detroit.
Detroit, yeah, it'd be 6 hours in Detroit, and you could walk back home.
Yeah, it's actually a 4-hour layover in Detroit, which is really
Are
bad.
you kidding me?
No, I'm not.
Oh,
but
that's terrible.
I've got it covered. Don't worry about that. But yeah, so
What's her name? Oh, okay. All right. Anyways, so you're doing a business trip in San Francisco for almost a week, and I am very envious. Lots of stuff to do out there. A lot of fun. Great restaurants, entertainment, historical things. You go see a redwood, try to wrap your arms around it.
Yeah, I'm just looking forward to the bed in the hotel. It's
Really
comfortable, you know.
What yours not is yours is straw.
They have those feathery stuff, you know, and it's just really nice.
Grandma's feather bed.
Yeah, it's nice.
That's kind of sick. What else? Oh, chocolate. What is it? What's the chocolate?
Ghirardelli, I think is what you said.
Oh, God. Sausalito. Go to Sausalito. Go over the bridge. Say
Which
hi.
bridge?
The Golden Gate
Oh,
Bridge.
okay. Yeah.
Wave to Alcatraz as you go by.
Yeah. Can you see it from the bridge?
You can.
Really?
Yes, you can. And get over there. And Sausalito is a very kind of a seaside, touristy town. It's great. And I know you like some seafood, right? I mean, you like
All of it?
Yeah, okay. Have seafood like crazy, and then go to a really nice steakhouse.
Yeah. Going to be spending some time on Treasure Island, too. So
What?
that's kind of cool. Yeah,
Where's Treasure Island?
It's in the bay.
Really?
It's an island.
I thought you were going to Alcatraz.
I am, but not by choice. It turns out they opened it again just for me.
Take your, because you're a high security federal criminal. Take your ghost detector when you go there, because they've done a lot of shows there where there's
Thinking about taking the night tour though, which would be cool.
What?
They do one during the night.
where they shiv you
Yeah.
with a blade made from a bed steak or something. What? That's
Maybe.
always fun.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, we got a bleeder. He's
Oh,
going
boy.
down. Anyways, we want to say today's Thursday, September 19th. We're broadcasting from the back room of the Duck and Stagger Bar and Studio in a large city in what country, Nate?
Kosovo.
Kosovo?
Yeah, why not?
Really? Oh, okay. I wow. I never look at the stamps anymore in the passport, so I have no idea where we're at. Kosovo. Well, that's interesting. Didn't know they had the Duck and Stagger.
One
there,
of these times you're going to show up to the studio I tell you to go to, and I won't be there.
And they won't be there. And that'll be Happy Days Are Here.
Well, for
again.
some of us.
We are a live political talk show.
Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern.
Right now.
Yeah.
Except when we're not. We are recorded. And you can listen to us anytime on our website, which is what?
At oddshow.com.
And also on Red State Talk Radio, certain times of the day. You can check their website for the schedule. You can call us tonight, right now, live, right now, in person. Right now, live. I can't say it enough. Live in person at 248-455-ODDS. That's 248-455-6337. Call in. We'd love to hear from you. Let's see. Oh, nothing's really Oh, wait a minute. Lots of stuff have happened this week.
No.
How about the shooting in the Navy Yard? AR-15s. Ooh, boogie, boogie, boogie. Scary, scary.
First,
guns.
obviously,
What?
thoughts to the families that are affected. And
It's horrible.
the nation was affected, but the families of the people, not just the ones that were shot, but everybody involved. I mean, that's traumatic. I've never experienced anything like that. I don't want to, but I can't imagine, especially while it's going on. I mean, just thinking like, my son works there or something. And I don't know what's going on.
I heard on the news that something's going on there, and I don't know if they're safe. It would be horrible. Having said that, it's really, really sad that some psycho can go into a military base in the heart of Washington, D.C., in the nation's capital, and kill 12 people and wound dozens of others and somehow not be stopped immediately.
Yeah.
What is that?
And that's the thing. And that's interesting. And there's some roots back to
Bush and
Clinton, and people are trying to push it on to Reagan, but now that was a different situation. They're talking about Beirut. The barracks in Beirut were bombed. The Marines there.
Those are foreign bases.
The Marines there
might be slightly different.
Weren't allowed to have their firearms loaded, from what I've read.
And they were here,
but it was not a U.S. base, and that's a bit different.
Go ahead.
What the big problem with this? I mean, if someone there would have had a loaded gun, which I guess the security guard may have, but if everybody there who was in the military, who handles firearms, who is charged with protecting our freedom, had a loaded firearm, and we're seeing reports of, the police showed up in 2 minutes. Great,
yeah,
great
and
response
within 7
time.
minutes, the SWAT team was there.
Great response time. Okay,
yeah.
So 12 people were murdered, 13 dead. Right.
Well, what was sad was we're hearing reports from a lot of the soldiers there that were saying, "Yeah, I had my AR-15, my fully automatic assault rifle, the military rifle.
Yep.
I had my gun, I had my sidearm, but guess what? We didn't have any bullets, like Barney Fife in Mayberry.
Yeah, they were saying
bullet in the pocket. You got the gun; it's not loaded. What do you use? It's a club.
If we had loaded guns, we could have cleared the building. We knew which building it was in. We could have cleared it, taken care of it.
That's what some witnesses are saying.
I mean, it doesn't make sense to me. Especially now, you want to blame Clinton, you want to blame Bush, you want to blame Reagan. This happened in Fort Hood.
Well,
under this president, who could have changed the orders when he saw that in Fort Hood, this crazy man, this terrorist, went in, shot up
no
the place.
Excuses.
No excuses for anybody across the board.
They could have changed that policy. Now, to be honest, there are lots of military people that are retired now coming out and say, listen, this isn't atypical. Even for decades, a lot of people on military bases are not armed, and that's true. They have armories, they have guns that are stored, and a lot of the soldiers are not allowed to have guns on the base if they're living on base, and some of them are even inhibited from carrying guns off base in private housing.
Yep.
And we've seen that time and time again recently, where some of the people in Fort Hood, the local law enforcement, were bitching at the bases and saying, a lot of your soldiers are, carrying their guns because they have concealed weapons permits, in town and stuff, and we really don't like that. Well, I guess my issue is when they're off the clock, they're a private citizen.
and they have the right to keep and bear arms.
Yeah.
And when you're working for the government, if they want to regulate that and you're on base and you can't have a gun, that's an entirely different issue. I don't agree with it, but that's something else.
It kind of like a state employee or even a federal employee, not military.
And I can address that. I mean, I'm not allowed as a state employee to carry guns when I'm on duty. When I'm off duty, I can. And I can even carry them in my workplace when I'm not on duty, as long as I'm not on the clock. So the military has to wrap their head around that and realize, and I've heard and read some articles that were saying that even the military police, when they're not on duty, are not allowed to have guns on them. I mean, every law enforcement agency, I think, in the country just about, when their officers are off duty, they're allowed to carry firearms on them when they're off duty. If you extend that same courtesy to the law enforcement in the military, that'd be one thing. But we need to have a certain amount of people able to carry ammunition and firearms on bases that are there for security purposes. I mean, this goes out to the world that our bases, our guys are basically unarmed in U.S. bases in the in the United States. What does that say to our enemies?
Well, yeah, and this isn't the first time, you know. I mean,
I'm not saying,
Hood and even before this, but yeah, absolutely. Not only enemies, they're enemies. This moron,
well,
whatever, is an enemy.
I wanted to continue that and say, you know, this is a psycho. But Fort Hood guy wasn't. I mean, that was a terrorist act. No matter how they want to try to play it politically,
sure.
That guy was doing it in the name of Allah.
Yeah.
And they're calling it, you know, it wasn't terrorism and it wasn't workplace violence. What is it?
Yeah. The other big problem we have with events like this, and we've seen it over and over again, this time was particularly bad, are the idiots in the mainstream media that for 2 days almost we heard reports of him taking an AR-15.
Right. Oh, that evil
AR-15
gun.
military-style assault weapon and shooting up people like crazy. AR-15, and then we find out...
What was it, Nate?
Wait, yeah, maybe it was a shotgun and 2 handguns that he had.
A Remington shotgun?
Yeah, pump shotgun and 2 handguns.
Every small game hunter has.
Come on. The gun that Joe Biden, the Vice President of the United States, recommends. Now, what this guy did was aimed at people. You're supposed to aim it at doors or into the air.
Up into the air.
So he was wrong a little bit, but there wasn't...
a little misunderstanding.
He didn't really use an AR-15.
No.
Now, we see CNN. CNN put out a report saying, there wasn't an AR-15, but...
If there was,
AR-15s
it would be
have
horrible.
been used and they should be banned.
Yeah.
Come on.
That's the anti-gun bias that we see in the media all the time. And I'm reading reports, too, that you know, all of a sudden, since it's not an AR-15 and it is a shotgun, and it's not this, you know, horrible AR, ugly black assault weapon, media outlets are being kind of quiet about it. You're not hearing a lot of media talking about the shooting now. It's like, oh, well, no story here. We can't use it to promote our agenda of anti-gun and gun control, so we're not going to talk about it.
The other thing I noticed, I mentioned this on another show, the other side, the gun advocates, seem to jump on this a bit quicker than I've seen it in when we had tragedies in the past. This happened, they jumped out immediately saying, this is what the left's going to say, this is what, you know, this is why they're wrong, and kind of took a proactive approach to it. And I don't know if that was the right way to do it either, because it was almost like the gun advocates kind of politicized it before anybody else did. But it was, to me at least, and maybe I was just paying attention more lately, but the roles were kind of reversed in as far as who came out first politicizing the whole thing. We knew every time something happens, we know, and we saw the Fonz came out and said, hey, let's do nothing about gun control because I'm an idiot.
But listen, the president came out and he said, it's a terrible tragedy, but then he went into a gun control rant right away. I mean, I listened to that, and it was like, all right.
And then lied about the economy for the last 5 years?
No, whatever.
So the only real way to fix these things are to stop having gun-free zones.
Right, and that's the issue. Another gun-free zone, another mass murder, because people are defenseless in these areas, and these maniacs know that. Mm-hmm. This guy knew that he could go in there and kill lots of people in a short order because nobody was there to stop him. And as everyone says, including Larry Pratt, who is director of Gun Owners of America and the NRA, what stops a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. And the left, wants to poo-poo that, and they go, oh, so your solution is more guns. Yes, it is.
In this case, when this guy went into the Navy shipyard and
in
shot
many
up the
cases.
place, in every case, but, most cases.
Most cases.
A good guy with a gun stopped this shooting.
Yeah. And then you see people on the left, well, you can look at the statistics, and there's no, when there's a good person that stops it, there's no mass murderers there. That's because they stopped it. Because mass murder is defined as what? 3 or more? 2
4 maybe.
Two or
but
three?
That's the problem with the data is there aren't very many mass shootings that
when
have
there's
come
a good
to
guy,
an end by a good guy with a gun because they stop it before it happens.
Duh. And that's not rocket science. That's not brain surgery. That's common sense, but they don't want to see it. They're just saying, "Oh, there's no mass murderers." Well, of course there's not because they stop it. Damn it! I'm riled up.
Yeah.
All right.
No.
You want to talk about that some more, or do you want to go on to the Starbucks revelation?
Well, we could talk about that for years. The Starbucks revelation is, it's similar.
What did you write?
Attention, criminals! Starbucks is trying to become a gun-free zone.
Right, we don't like your guns. Please don't bring them in there. We're not going to stop you, but please, for the love of God, please don't bring your guns into our stores because it upsets everybody.
Yeah, okay, so the Starbucks CEO wrote an open letter.
What did you say? Before you get into that, I want to say Starbucks sucks ducks.
Okay.
I like that.
So
that's an alliteration, by the way. Sort of. The CEO
of Starbucks wrote an open letter basically saying we're not banning guns, but we're going to respectfully request that you do not bring them into our stores.
So what's he doing?
He's saying guns are not welcome.
Right. What's he trying to do?
What he's trying to do is he's trying to make the anti-gun people happy by saying, look, I said don't bring guns, while still telling gun owners that, yeah, you can come in and spend your money in here.
Just don't bring your guns.
And what he's saying his reason is he doesn't want his employees, their partners, to be in a position where they have to approach somebody carrying a gun. Now, I want to know, what has a gun carrier done in a Starbucks that would make an employee nervous to confront them? Because I've seen
nothing.
I've seen my fair share of people carrying guns. I've been seen
open
one
carrying in Starbucks.
I've never seen one that caused a scene that would make me afraid to approach them. And that's true. I've never seen that. And I've seen hundreds or thousands of people carrying guns, knowing I carry them. Everybody's seen thousands of people carrying guns. They just don't know it. When they hate guns, they're too stupid to realize that the guy next to them probably has one concealed.
Right. So what Starbucks is trying to do is have their cake and eat it too. They're trying to placate the anti-gun people and placate the pro-gun people, but he's doing a piss-poor job of doing either of those things.
I don't think so. No way. No
way.
Moms Demand Action came out and said, this is great. This is the beginning of the end of guns in public. We want it to be demonized just like smoking and drunk driving. Because carrying a gun is just like getting drunk and driving a car.
Well, of course it is. It's exactly the same.
Come on. You're an idiot. What is Shannon Watts or something? You're a moron. But on the other side, we have gun owners who are, I'm all for gun rights, but you open carry people, you did this, and I'm still going to go there because they didn't ban guns.
Right, that's the other thing
They didn't ban guns.
Yeah.
And we're talking about open carry organizations coming out saying this.
Right. That's a little sad when open carry proponents are saying, you open carry guys screwed the pooch on this.
A group
founded
to advocate openly carrying firearms is coming out saying, you open carry people, you did this because what you tried to do was try to desensitize the public. You see our mission statement? You did that. And how dare you do that? And I'm blaming you because, it wasn't us. Not that we posted on Facebook that, hey, there's a thing going on at Starbucks or anything months ago when it happened.
I think a lot of gun owners were trying to support Starbucks. And I think there's evidence that showed that their sales went up about 8% when this first started a couple of years ago. And now they're basically kicking gun owners in the face by saying, we don't want your guns, but we want your business. Well, screw you. I'm not going to go to Starbucks anymore. I'm not going to promote them in any way that I can. They can't have their cake and eat it too. They're either for constitutional rights or they're not. I mean, I agree that private property rights are important, right? If they want to ban whatever.
Absolutely.
But this is a constitutional right. Now, if Starbucks came out and said, we don't want black people in our Starbucks, we're not going to kick them out, but you're really not welcome in our store. We don't really want black people. There would be an outrage about that.
It's really
it's protected.
It's really not much different than banning guns. I really
Very
think
much
it's
the
same thing. Now, should they be able to do that? Probably.
Right.
Would I ever support them in doing that? Absolutely not. And most Americans wouldn't, and I don't see the difference here.
But if the government wants to protect a certain class of people by making a law, by the way, there is a law. You can't discriminate against black people or religion or other various protected classes of people in this country. If they're going to do that and then they throw gun owners under the bus, that's hypocrisy. I don't like that.
Oh, absolutely.
The government has to protect all our constitutional rights or none. I mean, they can't have it both ways.
Well, with extra laws. We have the Constitution. If we would stick to the Constitution, everything would be hunky-dory.
Right.
And then we would stay the hell out of what a private business was doing. The government would stay out of what a private
and then you'd go
business
back
was doing.
to private businesses banning blacks and Jews and Christians and whoever they wanted out of their stores. And then the market would decide.
Right. And I think today the market would decide correctly, in a business that didn't allow blacks or Jews wouldn't do very well.
Right. Probably not. Well, they might do really well with,
Dunkin' Donuts has come out very officially on their Facebook page by responding to a comment.
Don't put us in there with Starbucks.
Basically. But they say that different than Starbucks, their stores are all individually owned franchises. And they
are Dunkin'
required
Donuts franchise, or are they
Dunkin' Donuts? That's what I just said.
I know, but are they? I'm sure they have some privately owned.
They're all privately owned.
Okay, so it's the same thing.
But I don't know what that means.
What?
Dunkin' Donuts is a franchise,
right?
Each store
just like Starbucks.
Each store is individually
owned. Franchise.
Okay, so Dunkin' Donuts, their policy requires that the local stores follow state, federal, local laws in regards to firearms, which is basically what Starbucks said, which is what Walmart
they didn't
says.
say that.
That was their working policy.
No. Well, that's what they started, but now they've said we don't want your guns, but we're not going to kick you out if you have guns.
Okay.
Well, that's different. And Walmart came out and said, we're going to follow state laws, but we're going to leave it up to the individual managers of each store to decide what their policy is. That's a big difference.
Yeah, thanks for saying exactly what I was saying,
You
Brian.
weren't getting there.
Shut up.
All right.
God. So, anyway, Dunkin' Donuts might be the new Starbucks. I think we should have some open carry rallies at Dunkin' Donuts.
So far, and we'll see what happens.
I think what my new personal mission will be is to host open carry rallies at every business that follows state law, see how many of them I can get to unwelcome guns.
Okay.
I just, you got to have goals. You got to have goals.
I don't have a problem with Dunkin' Donuts.
No, I like Dunkin' Donuts. They have ice cream there, too.
I mean, I like my local
the good ones have ice cream.
Franchised of Big B's coffee. I think that's better.
Yeah, and they follow state and local law.
No, not only that, but they welcome open carry. As far as I know, I've never had a problem in their store for the last 5 years.
No, and we've had events in
We've had events there, and I've gone and open carried in a lot of them in my metro area, and those guys are pretty cool. So I guess what I want to say about Starbucks is I'm not going to spend money there. I get a lot of people are going, I'm just going to conceal carry and go to Starbucks because they said they don't hate guns. oh, wait a minute, they do hate guns, but they're not going to bother me because if the guns aren't seen, then, oh, well. But you know what? I mean, that's like you're giving your money to an anti-gun organization. And I don't care how you spin it.
It's worse.
The CEO came out and said, we don't want your guns.
It's worse than that to me, and it's more personal. It's not that they're anti-gun and on principle I don't support them. It's that I am not welcome there. If I want to buy a sweater from the sweater shop and they said, you can come in and buy it, but you're not welcome in here, but I'll let you spend my money or spend your money here, and it didn't have anything to do with guns, I still wouldn't go there.
Ridiculous.
And
why would you do that?
This reminded me, it was kind of funny. We talked about Dunkin' Donuts, a Dunkin' Donuts 7-Eleven combo, which is kind of weird. The owner told me that I could still come in and spend my money, but I wasn't really welcome there with my gun. And so I never went back. I mean, it was the same situation as Starbucks. She didn't ban me, but, I wasn't really welcome in there. We're going to take a quick break, though, and when we come back, we have a lot to talk about. Brian wants to talk about how much he loves police officers, so we will be right back.
The voice of American conservatism. WRS Digital, Red State Talk Radio.
My Parents Open Carry, a pro-gun kids book from White Feather Press. 13-year-old Brenna and her parents spend their day in typical fashion. But what's not so typical is that Brenna's parents lawfully open carry handguns for self-defense. And the Strongs join a growing number of families who are standing up for their Second Amendment right and bringing gun ownership out of the closet. Order your copy of this unique kids book at myparentsopencarry.com.
Fact. U.S. credit card debt is 8 times larger than it was 30 years ago. No wonder you and I are feeling the credit card crunch. You're not alone. Increasing prices and the costs of credit are stretching budgets and preventing people just like us from getting ahead or just catching up with our debts. At American Financial Debt Relief, we can help. We have tested ways to help you get out of debt. Find out how now. The call is free to learn more. If you qualify, we can reduce your interest, show you how to stop your debt from getting larger, and help you get out of debt faster than you can by making minimum payments. So if you're falling behind on your credit cards or medical bills, give us a call right now, where a free 5-minute call can change your life.
800-978-4815. 800-978-4815. Reduce your credit card debt. Call now. 800-978-4815. 800-978-4815. Obama wants your money, and he's determined to get it. He wants your money to buy off unions, his Wall Street cronies, and to expand the Obama welfare nation. Well, Swiss America is determined to stop him from stealing your money. They want to send you an award-winning film, I Want Your Money, on DVD that exposes his plan. It'll help keep the government's hands off your money using gold, silver, and other hard asset strategies to protect your hard-earned money. Call today and request the DVD, I Want Your Money, normally $19.95, yours absolutely free. Let Swiss America show you how to use gold, silver, and other hard assets to protect your hard-earned money. Call now. 800-932-5146. 800-932-5146. Call Swiss America right now. Learn all about investing in gold. 800-932-5146. 800-932-5146. Call now.
So George Zimmerman is back in the news, and his wife Sheila. She looks like a beaut. There was some situation going where she called 911 and said, "Oh, George is beating my father up, and oh, he threatened us with a gun, and oh, it's horrible, horrible, horrible." She filed for divorce. She wanted, to make it ugly for him. Well, video camera, witnesses, everything sort of came out and said that George didn't hit anyone. He didn't have a gun. And Sheila recanted her statement to 911 and didn't want to press charges, but the local police department said, Sheila, you lied, and that's against the law. So she was arrested and charged with battery against George Zimmerman and filing false police report and all kinds of stuff. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I mean, it's not the first time she's lied. She lied about donations, right, earlier in the whole ordeal.
Yeah, she doesn't seem like she's just a very wonderful person. Just wanted to bring that up. Poor old George. He's going to have a tough road to.
Oh yeah, he needs to
travel.
move.
Yeah,
far away from where he is. Go to one of the flyover states. Go to Iowa, whatever. Hang out there.
Nebraska. Yeah, Minnesota. Minnesota's nice.
Arizona. South California, maybe.
South California.
Parts of Texas.
I'm
just thinking he would half blend in.
Oh, God. Colorado he'd fit in. There's a lot of Hispanic people in Colorado.
Yeah.
Lansing, Michigan has 25% Hispanic population. He could come to Michigan. He might like it there.
I'd meet him for lunch.
Sure, I would. I'd buy his
what kind of person he is. I might hate him.
He might say, you're a dink. But he might be a great guy. Who knows? I think he's a little different, but okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he is.
Remember when we talked about a few weeks ago about the couple that had a child out of wedlock, which is not necessarily a good thing to do, but whatever. And they were wondering what they wanted to do about a surname for the child. And the judge said, wait a minute. Before you get to your surname, you named your son Messiah? There's only one Messiah in the world, and that's Jesus
Obama.
Christ. Could be two. Well,
that judge has been missing for the last 3 months.
The ancient Messiah and the second coming of the Messiah.
Mm-hmm.
So there's Jesus, and then there's Obama. Anyways, she didn't even really get into the surname issue. She goes, you can't name your child Messiah. That's horrible and dishonorable. There's only one Messiah, and that's Jesus Christ. So I'm going to declare, and then hits the table with her little hammer and says, your son will be named Martin. And the mother's maiden name will be the middle name, and the father's surname will be the last name, and that's how I rule. Well, you and I discussed that. We thought that was, outrageous.
Absolutely wrong. The judge had no place getting involved in what this kid's first name was.
Right. Not in the United States. There's other countries, as we discussed, that do have laws against certain first names for children. Like
but we're not those
Adolf.
Countries for a reason.
Right. They sort of appealed, and they went up to a higher court, and higher court says, you really can't tell people what to name their kids, and religious names are pretty popular, and there's thousands of kids named Jesus, and there's quite a few kids named Messiah, so we're going to overturn that, and you can name your child Messiah, which is great because the kid's like, 2 years old and already, comes, sits, and fetches to Messiah.
Yeah,
so
that's going to be tough.
That's
going to be tough. But, they changed it back.
Yeah.
They changed it back to Messiah.
As
so
they
good
should
for
have.
them.
Yeah.
Good for the justice system
that's
working the way it is, because every case,
a civil rights issue.
Every case should be ruled incorrectly the first time and then have to be appealed. I mean, that's just how it works.
No, I disagree with that. I think if we had actual judges that ruled on the law and the Constitution, we wouldn't have so many appeals. And even the upper court said, maybe this judge should, maybe go into preaching or something. And
you mean judges aren't part of the branch that makes laws?
No.
Oh,
I don't.
That's
what are
weird.
those? There's three branches of government.
I can't remember them.
There's judicial, legislative, and
Messiahan.
And Messiahan.
The Messiahan branch, I think, that's the one Obama's in.
Yeah, the nobility.
No. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, good for them. It's a win for us. We should be able to name our children whatever we want to name them. If we want to name them Moon Unit, like Frank Zappa named his kid, then we should be able to name them Moon Unit. All right, I am sick and tired. I don't know about you. I'm sick and tired of dumb cops or cops that don't give a damn or know the law.
I mean, I know you're sick of it. Personally, I haven't had quite enough of it yet. I think if we could go another 50 or 60 years, get a little closer to a police state, then I would be more
I don't know how much
comfortable.
we can get closer to a police state, and we'll talk about some of those things. I think we're there. I'm just going to go through a few examples. You can jump in and give your opinions whenever you want. Let's see.
Oh, thanks, Brian.
You may enter into the discussion at any time, Nathan. DeKalb County Police.
I don't like that county.
DeKalb County?
Yeah.
That's near Cook County, I think.
Yeah, it is.
Police.
I don't know if it is.
It is. All right. The police there shoot a teen who is skipping school. Now, I played hooky. I never thought I'd be shot for doing it, but they call it an unintentional misfire.
Well, yeah, I mean, the gun malfunction. What do you want?
I don't think so.
Well, I mean, he pulled the trigger and it,
It's very legitimate because there was a housebreaking in the area, and the kids went to the cops went to investigate the area, and they see a kid, and he runs away. And so the cops go, that must be our housebreaker, and so they shoot him. And the kid was running away because he thought the cops were after him because he was skipping school. And the police say it was just an accident. I don't know what the lawsuit's going to be, but kid didn't die, but, being shot by the police is, I think, fairly traumatic, and I think is going to require some compensation. And I think there'll be attorneys that'll jump on that. I don't know about you. Did you know NASA?
I don't think so.
You're familiar with NASA, right? National Aeronautic Space Administration.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the agency in the government that is used to execute Muslim outreach. We want to show the Muslim world how cool science can be.
You're close.
No,
you're very close. No,
I'm accurate.
No. I don't know that you're accurate. Your precision is off. You may be accurate. NASA has a SWAT team. I don't know about that, but they have a SWAT team. And apparently they employed that SWAT team on a very old woman who was trying to sell a piece of moon rock that she was given. Her husband apparently worked for NASA and was given a souvenir for his outstanding work, and there was a little piece of moon rock. And those are quite valuable. More valuable than gold because, moon rock doesn't really occur much on the planet Earth, Nate. I don't know if you're aware of that. I'm a geologist, so I can talk about that. But you're
not
more
intelligently.
Not
you
intelligently
can talk
at
about
all.
it.
I can talk about it all day long. But you're more likely to find gold, walking down the street than you are a moon rock. So they're quite valuable. So she was trying to sell some.
Maybe we should base our currency on moon rock.
And apparently, somehow online, somebody saw this and thought that she might have had illegitimate moon rocks. I don't know how you get that.
Born out of wedlock.
I don't know how much moon rocks have been stolen or out there in the underworld. But she's in this
black market.
Yeah, there's a black market for moon rocks, and she was out going to meet somebody, a potential buyer, and it was like an undercover NASA special agent or something.
NASA.
And NASA.
NASA is completely different.
Yeah, that's in Florida. NASA is also in Florida, so I don't know. I can see how it would be confusing.
Anyway, NASA SWAT team.
They swooped in.
Bam. Don't sell fake moon
like
rock.
It wasn't fake. It was a real moon rock.
Don't sell real moon rock.
But
that
they
might
thought
be
she had it
illegitimate.
and they hoisted her up. She's an 80-year-old lady, and they, tased her, pepper sprayed her, threw her down on the ground, stomped on her face. I'm making some.
Well, she wouldn't stop fighting. I mean,
an 80-year-old feisty woman that's stealing her moon rock. Anyways, people were amazed that NASA had a SWAT team. So we verified that, and yes, they do. And their spokesman said, "We're here 24/7," said SWAT Commander David Fernandez. "There's never a point where SWAT is not here, so we're ready to respond to something if needed at a moment's notice." So that's good to know that space program has a SWAT team. Now, we've talked about this and how every freaking federal agency has an emergency response unit. And it's the police state, and it's the federal agents getting lots of power. And Nate's rolling his eyes, and he's bored.
No, falling asleep, not rolling my eyes, but...
All right. Chicago top cop warns that his officers will shoot concealed carriers.
This one sounds really familiar. Like
What?
It's been done before. I don't know.
That he said that? Or that we've done the story?
Yeah, we might have.
I don't think we did the story, did we?
Okay. No, go ahead.
I'm not sure.
All right, just go.
As we know, Illinois is the last state to now have a concealed carry law. They fought it for decades. And now you can get a concealed carry weapon in Chicago and in Illinois. And McCarthy, who is the chief of police, says, "Oh, you put more guns on the street, expect more shootings. I don't care if they're licensed, legal firearms. People are not highly trained. Putting guns in the hands is a recipe for disaster. So I'll train my officers that there is a concealed carry law. But when someone turns with a firearm in their hand, the officer does not have an obligation to wait to get shot to return fire. And we're going to have tragedies as a result of that. I'm telling you that up right front."
Yeah, so we for sure talked about this before, and the point I made was that he didn't say that if someone's in the city concealed carrying, they're going to shoot them. What he said is if they're stopping somebody and they turn around and have a gun in their hand,
they're going to get shot.
It's going to be tough for the police to respond to that, and I completely understand what he's saying.
And absolutely they should be shot if someone turns and there's a gun in their hand.
And that's exactly what he said. My point was this is out of context.
My point is that this is the blood in the street scenario that everyone has said in the last 35 years about concealed carry is you're going to have all these tragedies. They just don't happen.
Right. I mean, exactly. The problem with what he said is that he's assuming that concealed carry license holders will turn around with a gun in their hand when they're
and point at the police
legally.
Right.
That's the problem with it. It's not that he's saying the police are going to shoot concealed carriers arbitrarily.
I'm not so sure about that. I think he would like to see that.
Maybe, but that's not what he said here. And that's my only point, and that's the point I made last time we did this story.
Well,
but the cool thing is the police in Chicago train weekly with their firearms. They have at least 10 hours a week at the range.
Well, that's
practicing.
That's not true. BearingArms.com staff wrote that the sad, simple fact of the matter is that the Chicago Police Department rarely train with their firearms.
That's less than 10 hours a week.
Most fire their weapons only during the mandatory annual qualification. That's once a year, which lasts just 1 hour, Nate. He said there are Girl Scout troops with more frequent range time than the Chicago PD, which I thought was funny.
And maybe we should make Girl Scouts into police officers. That would be cool.
Are you aware of, you're aware of, you're an open carry guy, right?
Only long guns.
That's not entirely true. Texas, one of the few states where you cannot openly carry a handgun. But you can openly carry a long gun.
Yep.
So there was some protesters at the Texas
state capitol,
Austin. There were some men legally carrying firearms that were arrested at the Texas Capitol because the state troopers there were not aware of the gun law exemption. And that's where I'm saying these guys don't know the law. Or they don't care.
Yeah.
But these guys were arrested for openly carrying long guns, which are perfectly legal in Texas.
Yeah,
I don't know what the charge was.
We've had discussions like this a lot, and you can't expect a police officer to know every single law on the books.
No.
Or lack of law on the books, which is like in Michigan, there's no open carry law.
Right.
It's just not illegal, which is how most things in this country work. Is if it's not illegal, it's legal.
It's lawful.
You don't generally have laws that
say you can do
say
something.
Things are legal. Now,
right.
I found an ordinance in the city I live in that that did work like that, and that was interesting to me.
What was it?
It was shooting BB guns and whatever in your yard, but
Okay.
There must have been some confusion because it explicitly said you can shoot BB guns in your yard.
Right.
So I'm like, yeah, that's cool. But the problem is when police officers don't know the law, but they act on it as if they do know what the law is,
Right.
and
I
they're
hate
wrong.
that because they don't want to lose face. They don't want to appear like they're ignorant. They don't want to appear like they're weak.
Oh, but they do after the fact, big time.
Yeah, and unfortunately, there's not consequences to that because they're often immune to any kind of legal action.
Yeah, if
because
something really bad doesn't happen.
They were operating in good faith.
Yep.
Oh, just
they
because
thought
we
they were
didn't know-
doing the right thing.
It wasn't an intentional violation
Yep.
of your rights.
Like
So
everything
nothing
liberal
happens
is
to
based
them.
on good intentions.
Now, the city can be sued and can lose lots of money, but they have insurance, so they don't really care. Unfortunately, it's the police officers that don't get punished for this. And it's the other officers that don't self-regulate the bad officers. It's that thin blue line. And the other thing I've said time and time again is it's a brave new world now. We have video cameras and recorders, and most people now can videotape and record interaction with police officers. They hate it, but they've been caught time and time again violating people's rights. So we'll see what happens with these people in Texas. I suspect the charges will be dropped.
Take another quick break. 248-455 odds if you're still listening. I mean, Brian's been talking, so you're probably not.
Oh, my goodness.
We will be right back.
Red State Talk Radio.
The idea of government taking over healthcare is enough to make you sick.
The conservative voice.
I will never forget the day my son Jeremy told me he hated me and slammed the door in my face. I'm behavioral therapist Janet Lehman. Behavior problems can turn the child you love and your life into a nightmare. That's why my husband James and I created the Total Transformation, the step-by-step program that shows you how to fix the worst behavior problems and get your child to respect and listen to you again. No matter what the behavior, defiance, backtalk, angry outbursts, disrespect, we can help you stop it. Now you can get the Total Transformation for free. All you need to do is get the program and let us know how it works for you. You can keep it forever for free.
Limited number of free programs available. Call now. 1-800-257-2873. 1-800-257-2873. 1-800-257-2873. That's 1-800-257-2873.
When it comes to TV, if you can't see the difference, why pay the difference? Switch to Dish for the best value in entertainment. Not only will you find the same channels you know and love for less, Dish sweetens the deal with free HD for life and premium movie channels free for 3 months, including Blockbuster at home. You can also save a bundle when you combine DishNet high-speed internet with your TV service. Why would you ever pay more for TV? Switch to Dish and see what real value is. Free HD for life, premium channels free for 3 months, scores of movies with Blockbuster at home, premium savings when you bundle DishNet high-speed internet service. Limited time offer, 24-month agreement with credit qualification required. Cancellation fee, auto pay, and paperless billing and other restrictions apply. Call for details.
Call Dish Satellite, your Dish authorized retailer now. 800-507-9468. 800-507-9468. 800-507-9468. That's 800-507-9468.
Red State Talk Radio.
Why spend more than you have to on your life insurance? Did you know that term life insurance rates have fallen over 60% in the last 15 years? At the Life Insurance Quote Line, we monitor the rates, features, and financial strength of hundreds of life insurance products. For example, a healthy 40-year-old can protect his family with $500,000 of 10-year level term for less than $20 a month. Rates for women are even lower. And don't forget to ask us about the new term life policies that guarantee your money back even if you don't die. Since 1986, we've helped tens of thousands of people just like you save a fortune on their life insurance. Why not find out how much you can save? Write down this number and call today for your free quote. 1 5-minute call is all it takes. Call 800-610-3497. 800-610-3497. That's 800-610-3497. 888-858-3497. Rates, policy forms, and availability vary by state.
So, a police officer charged in a fatal shooting of an unarmed man who had just survived a car accident. I think you read that report. Apparently, some guy was in a bad car accident. He was a former football player for a college, big college, and was pounding on some doors trying to get help. Someone thought that it was some crazy man, and they called the police. The police came and were looking for some suspect that was causing some kind of unrest in the area. And the poor guy, he sees the police, he thinks help is there. The police are there to help.
Well, they thought he was a homeless guy, right?
No, I don't think so.
I think so.
No,
okay.
The guy came running to him, waving his arms like, hey, help, I've been in an accident. And some cop opened up on him and shot him.
Don't run at the police.
A few times. The good thing is that apparently the police have ruled the shooting unlawful, and they have charged the officer with manslaughter.
Yep. With he's saying, well, it was an accident, and his lawyers are definitely saying, no, it was justified. So there's still a legal battle to be had. But.
And they're always going to say it's justified, but when you shoot an unarmed person, it's always a tough battle. It's always tough.
Somebody doesn't have to be armed
to be a danger.
To justify
I understand that, but
force.
Depending on how far away they are.
It depends on a lot of things.
If they're 2 feet away from you and running at you, that's one thing. If they're 50 feet away.
And did he have his hands up running at him?
Yeah, if they're 50 feet away, could we use an alternate non-lethal method? So we'll see what happens with that. But the advice we're giving you is if you have a car accident, don't run at the police.
Or if you don't have a car accident, don't run at the police.
Don't run at the police. Or if you're in your living room watching TV and the police come to your door, don't run at the police. Don't run at them.
If you are a student at Ohio State University, don't run at the big, giant, new armored vehicle.
Not now, because the Ohio State campus police have acquired an armored fighting vehicle. The OSU campus cops are the first agency. Now, this is interesting. The first agency in the entire freaking state of Ohio to get an armored vehicle.
Well, because they do the most law enforcement work that would require an armored vehicle.
I mean, and when they're playing Michigan,
well, look, it's not
things
East
get
Lansing
crazy.
That they riot for nothing. It's Ohio State.
It's Ohio State. They're going to riot for a purpose,
right?
Yeah.
I don't know
whether they're playing Michigan
or
much sense, maybe Notre Dame. Anyways, they get the first armored vehicle ahead of less vital departments such as the Ohio Emergency Management Agency, right? And they were so excited. The cops bragged. They said, "Oh, we got this at no cost. It's military surplus," and that's an issue I freaking have as well. As more and more law enforcement agencies are getting these military vehicles that are being supplied by, the military at no cost. Yeah, you want an armored vehicle, you want a tank, you want some bazookas, whatever you guys want.
Well, right, it's because
we want to arm the civilian police department to be as well supplied as our U.S. military.
You done?
No, he also bragged that it has extremely low miles and is in nearly new condition. And the only thing we have to do is sort of paint it Ohio State colors. Okay, right. I'm done now.
Okay, well that's all. You went too far. So.
We're gonna remove the top turret. They also said though that it has a sniper little area there, and it's really great, and we can use it for all kinds of civil unrest on campus.
Yeah, no, it'll be good
because those co-eds are crazy.
Well,
you get a bunch of co-eds at Ohio State University, and they're drinking like Red Bull and vodka and taking aspirin, and they're out of control.
They are.
So you need an armored vehicle to handle those 18-year-olds.
So we're coming up.
I'm done now.
Okay, that's great. We're about out of time, though. I do want to warn you that I will be, like you said, out of town. So we may tape a show. We may do a nice remote show, which would be good. I've been trying to get you to do that.
We'll see
next Thursday, but plan on something. Check out our Facebook, facebook.com/@oddshow. Look on there, and we'll definitely let you know what's going on. We did have a Starbucks card that we were going to give away.
A gift card.
We
might still do
give
that.
it away. I don't know if we will.
Sure, we will.
Because I don't really like Starbucks. Maybe
no, it's already paid for. It's already the money's already there, so we might as well.
Our next
cash
show,
in.
I think maybe we give it to the first anti-gun person that calls.
Ooh, that'd be
send
good.
it to them.
Yeah,
and they can go sit in a Starbucks where they know nobody around them is armed. So when somebody comes in to shoot up the place, they'll know that there's nobody there that will be able to protect them. So that'll be good.
It's a $25 gift certificate.
So you can get
one cup,
of coffee.
2 cups of coffee.
You could. All right. Well, see you next week.
All right. Bye-bye.